This is my ficus tree. Here's an angle from the left and a close-up on the branches. Well, today I'm cutting it down. This is the first time I've ever cut down a tree, so we'll see how it goes. This is what I'm going to be using. Nice little chainsaw here. We've got a few axes for the roots. I don't want to be using the chainsaw in the roots because then the dirt's going to mess up the blades. And then of course for some safety we have a hard hat, we have the leather gloves and safety glasses. Alright, let's go see what this looks like. Before I started, I did a quick look around to see what I was up against. Then I grabbed my chainsaw and got to work. Now, the reason the tree's coming down is for site prep. I'm getting the site ready for a pretty cool project coming up in the next few months. I don't want to give too much detail on the project just yet because it's still in the city plan check process and we've had some major pushback from the city. So we're still not 100% sure if the project is actually going to happen, but we're getting the site ready anyways. You know, hopefully I can share a little more about the project once it's good to go and we start to get rolling. So I have to be honest though, I was bummed to see the tree go. It doesn't feel good to cut down a good looking ficus tree. Originally, we wanted to keep the tree and build around it, but because of some surprising city constraints, we were forced to redesign our plans and now the tree has to go. And that's how it goes sometimes. You don't always get it your way. You know, and this got me thinking about some things. In one of my college psychology classes, we learned about locus of control. Okay, just hear me out. I'll tie this all back to the tree in a second here. So someone's locus of control is either internal or external. People that have an internal locus of control tend to believe that their actions affect their outcomes, whereas people who have an external locus of control believe that whatever they do doesn't really matter too much. They tend to believe things are just going to be what they're going to be. But what I do remember the most is that typically an internal locus of control is more positive because people who think that they have control over their outcomes tend to be mentally healthier. And those that have an external locus of control are more vulnerable to external events, which then leads to higher levels of stress. But here's my main takeaway with all of this. I don't think it's very accurate to think that everything in life is within your control. Yes, an internal locus of control is more positive and we should all strive to be that way, but I don't think it's that black and white. All right, so it looks like that's going to wrap day one. Hey guys, this is day number 2 of cutting down the ficus tree. You know, cutting it down was super easy, but I really underestimated the whole root system of the tree. There's a lot of digging. So I'll go ahead and show you guys the progress and then we can get started. So back to the internal locus of control. Take this ficus tree, for example. When I found out I had to cut it down and I had to redesign the project, I was stubborn and I did everything I could to keep me from changing the design. I called the different governing agencies to ask for variances. I asked some of my colleagues for advice, but I quickly saw that it was going nowhere. Now, I like to think that I have a strong internal locus of control that if I work hard enough for something, eventually I'll get it. But in this case, with the original design, I accepted that this particular decision was not in my control. So I revisited the goal of building this project and I focused on what was actually in my control. I think it's way more productive that way. I think that we should spend our time where it makes sense. So for me, that meant I had to redesign the project, which led to cutting down the tree. And that's where we're at now. The new design is in the city, it's getting plan checked, and we'll see if we get the green light, hopefully soon. So that's all I have to say about this. Thank you for listening to my rant. I'll let this guy close it out for you. Alright, so we're done. Tree is out, roots are gone. I ended up getting some help from my dad. We knocked it out in a couple hours, so yeah, this is what's left. Everything's loaded up in the truck. Today is Thanksgiving, so we're gonna go haul it to the dump on Friday. Tomorrow. Freaking beat.